This is Buck and the Parson. I'm Buck, and I'm here with our friend Stan, and we're at Stillwater Farm outside of Chandler, Texas. And Stan, I want to tell you something. I was here 6 or 8 weeks ago, and before you had just seeded this pasture in your cool season annuals, and it is quite a different story today. That is a gorgeous pasture.
Yeah, it got bit just a little bit by the cold snap. What I've got in this pasture is I've got crimson clover that comes back naturally in ryegrass, but we planted oats and wheat and Austrian peas and daikon radishes and turnips, and they have all come up. Now turnips got bitten back a little bit, but I think they're about to all spring up again. We're about to put chicken litter. You know what chicken litter is, Buck?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay.
For our friends at home, it's poop.
It's poop, chicken poop. But anyway, it's natural and it's high in nitrogen. And I've kind of waited to put it out because I want the seeds to have established good root system, because they're going to really jump when this nitrogen or chicken litter gets put on them. So let me tell you a little bit of what's happening. Pigs are coming in a few weeks. And this is what I call the hillside pasture. Obviously, because it is a hillside, you'll see the other pastures are a little flatter. But this hillside pasture will be divided into at least 2, maybe 3 paddocks. And by paddocks, I mean little areas where, little by about 3 acres, where the pigs will feed, and then we'll change them from that paddock to the next paddock to the next paddock so that they don't completely eat the grass down. And I think that's going to work really well. But this pond that, as you can see, is pretty low right now, it's going to be filling up. And I've got a pump that's going to be pumping water up the hill and into this pond if the good Lord doesn't fill it up for us. We've been waiting. It's gotten pretty low. So we'll have the pigs up here on the paddocks, the different paddocks, and whatever paddock they're in on this hillside pasture, they'll be able to work their way down to the pond here. And that's where, you know how pigs are in wallows, Buck.
I do.
They're going to enjoy that.
That's where we get that phrase, happy as a pig in mud.
Happy as a pig in mud. That's right.
And friends, one of the strategies for regenerative agriculture is rotational grazing.
Yeah.
So you don't just let your animals eat pasture down all the way. So moving them frequently, number one, puts the pigs on fresh grass regularly.
Yeah.
And number two, gives a rest time to the paddock they just came out of. So that's a regenerative agriculture technique, and it's a good one.
And if you want to see this technique in a really dynamic way, go on White Oak Pastures, and they'll show you how they move their cattle. And that same philosophy is how we'll practice here at Stillwater.
They move 700 cows every day.
Every day. I'm not going to do that. Right now, my thought is I'll move them every week. And so we'll work ourselves down from the hillside pasture all the way down to the next pasture we'll show you, we call the homeplace pasture. But before we do, I want to show you an area that is nearly finished. And that area is what I'm going to call hog heaven. Hog heaven goes, it's about probably not even an acre, but pretty close to it. The pigs can go down this lane and get into hog heaven. This will be hog heaven right here. The reason I call it hog heaven is because it's really kind of a holding area. But there's a valve right here that I can open when this pond is filled, or at least up the spillway pipe. I can open that valve and flood water into this low area here, which will create a lot of different wallows. And to a pig, this is going to be heaven because it's shaded. It's going to have fresh pond water that will go into the low areas here. And I think it's going to be just a great area to hold pigs when we're moving them from paddock to paddock. And so this is also between the hillside pasture and the home place pasture, which we're going to show you next.
Dan, this is a huge undertaking. This is lots going on here, and you're a man of a certain age.
I'm a man of a certain age.
You're not even a year retired, and what got you fired up for all this?
Well, I'm going to have to say, being a man of a certain age, it did my heart good to meet two men of a certain age. One 82-year-old Hines Boyd, who got into Iberico pigs 10 years prior. So he was 72 when he started his venture. I don't know Will Harris's age, but he's older than we are, I think.
Like a year and a half.
Yep. And he is going strong. Of course, he's been doing it all of his life too. And I've been preaching all of my life, but I've always had this draw to the farm and to the land and to this particular home place. And a few years ago, I met a guy named Danny Males here in East Texas, and Danny had a pasture hog operation that's pretty fascinating. We actually sold some of his pork in the store, and he talked to us about it. And from that point on, I took my father and my father-in-law out to that operation, and it was intriguing to me. And since then, the closer to retirement I've gotten, the more I've been stalking Hines Boyd and Iberico pigs, and then you introduced me to Will Harris, and that was a big game changer related to regenerative pastures. And so I stopped using any chemical herbicides, fertilizer, pesticides on the pasture several years ago, and trying to stay with that a real organic approach and trying to build up the microbes and all of the good stuff in the soil. When you go into the woods of this place, off of the pastures, you see what the soil used to look like, and we'll show you some of that in just a minute. But this is a lane. All of these paddocks and pastures are going to be connected with lanes so that we can bring the pigs down the lane and into the hog heaven, or we can take them all the way into this next pasture that we're going to show you. This pasture we call the home place pasture. So let's walk down here, Buck.
It looks magnificent.
Well, the grass is really taking off. You can see the oats and on the wheat, and
we've got Austrian winter peas.
We've got a lot of crimson clover in all of our pastures, even over here on the original home place, the original 60 acres that won't be involved in the pasture pig operation. There's a lot of crimson clover there. And so we have natural crimson clover in the hillside pasture. And I wanted to plant some airleaf clover. It matures a little bit later in the season. So as the crimson clovers go into seed, the airleaf clover is still growing and hadn't gone to seed, and it won't go to seed for about a month after the crimson does. So I think that's going to help us with the rotation. Now, I don't see on this end many of the turnips and the radishes, but they're in here. Let me talk about this related to paddocks. I think that this is going to divide nicely into 3 paddocks. And I'm bringing water that we have a well, real deep well, real good well. It's going to bring water across the little road, and it'll bring it all the way down where I can have fresh water into all 3 paddocks, as well as the corral, I'm calling it, that we can talk about later. Buck, you've done a lot of gardening, and your use of water, pretty impressive.
Yeah, we of course, mine are in smaller beds, and I control the water when it doesn't rain. And but a big operation. I mean, this is rain dependent, and I want to tell you, the stuff you've planted out here is the exact same stuff I use to build soil in my garden beds. It's the exact same mix: daikon radish, Austrian winter peas. We got a clover, we got hairy vetch, we got and that's the same stuff. And all I do is just turn that over in the springtime to the soil. And I spent 2 years without growing a vegetable. I spent 2 years making soil.
Yeah.
And this is how I did it. And the hogs are going to eat it and love it. They're going to fertilize this area. They're going to root and aerate this area. And we've got little helpers here. We got some fire ants that also dig tunnels way down and provide channels for water and nutrition to get down into the soil. So this is wonderful.
Yeah, I'm real pleased to see the hairy vetch greening up again because we had some real low temperatures down in the teens, and the hairy vetch took.
Yeah, it's right here.
Yeah, but it's really growing nicely now. It's greening up
And that'll
coming back.
That'll bloom purple
It'll bloom purple.
with the red clover. That'll be great.
Yeah, and the white blooms of the airleaf. So the airleaf clover, the hairy vetch, and the Austrian peas are all legumes, and so they're breathing natural nitrogen into the soil. And when you use them like Bucky's used them, it's really a good soil builder. And I think that it's going to be not only a good soil builder, but these pigs are going to love these pastures. So we'll divide this into 3 paddocks. You can barely see it down at the end, but I've got 3 little sheds, and that area is going to be what I'm going to call the nursery, the pig nursery. Because when you wean the pigs, you've got to separate them from their mamas, and you've got to take them into an area where you can really look after them. You can keep them fed and keep them watered and keep them together, and you've got to have some shade for them. And these big, huge oak trees and sweet gum trees that go down the lane, they provide a lot of good shade in the spring and particularly the summertime.
So would it if in the summer they probably feed over on this side because this is east, catching that shade, and they'll probably progress across here to the other side.
Yeah.
In the afternoon to get that shade, those trees.
And so let's go over to the orchard paddock.
Sounds good.
You got the master gardener here, but what do you see here?
Well, what you planted is all right in this little area is great representation. We've got turnips, we've got Austrian winter peas, there's some hairy vetch, there's a daikon radish back here, and so this is exactly, I'm telling you, your pigs are gonna look right here.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's a purple globe turnip. It'll get like this big when it's fully mature, but those pigs will love that, and it's a sweet turnip. That's going to really be a hit. And this is the east side of the homeplace pasture, the very far east side. Up there's my little nursery I'm going to create. But we want to take you down here. This is the 3rd pasture and the last pasture to be developed. And I'm going to call it the orchard pasture. And we just now did a little work on this in-between area, which is a beautifully wooded area. And the pigs are going to love this too. What did he say about the fire ants that we see in East Texas as the arch enemy, and we kill them as fast as we can usually?
Will Harris says you can kill them in the yard because you don't want the grandkids getting in them.
Yeah.
But out in the pasture, leave them alone.
Yeah.
They will make tunnels 8 feet deep, and they'll loosen the soil. They make channels for nutrients and for water to get down in there. And he said they do nothing but help you. Dung beetles, leave the dung beetles alone.
Leave them alone.
And they're actually doing natural tilling. He doesn't do any tilling, but they do it for him.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the fence will come all the way down here, pretty close to the little creek. And then we'll run the fence over to the south side where I already have my fence up. So the next big project we've got to do this spring is we're going to put, and if you can see through here, there are about 500 pecan trees. And so these pigs are going to finish out on acorns and on pecans. And so the last 3 months of their life before they're either sold to be breeder stock or they're sold to be processed, or we process them ourselves. They'll finish out on their natural habitat, acorns, and also something that ought to enrich that oleic acid in the pig itself, which is pecan.
Oh, pecan finished is going to be delicious.
Now, we got a beaver dam right here. So the beavers have already picked the place that would be the best place for me to put in my culvert, somewhere right in here.
And tell our friends at home what you mean by culvert.
A culvert, that's it can be made out of metal or real hard plastic. It's in a circle, a diameter, and I'll have to put a pretty big one here, or two maybe. And then you cover it up with we've got lots and lots of red clay right here, just available to us. So it'll be really easy for us to get a good hard clay surface on the culverts. And then you can actually drive across from one side to the other, or you can get your pigs to walk across.
So you'll move pigs from this area to that area, by virtue of that bridge that you make.
But yeah, it'll be a bridge in essence, because we'll have to put sides on it, but it'll be a little road across the culverts into this next pasture. So, Buck, that's what I've been working on hard.
Tell you what, I know you're a man of a certain age, but it is good to stay busy, and you are staying busy.
Well, I am that. I feel like I'm in probably as good a shape I've been in a long time. Lost about 40 pounds. I know you can't tell it, but it has gone away.
Yeah.
And I think it's the exercise. I think that good outdoor exercise, good hard work keeps you fit.
Right. Well, this is wonderful, and I can't wait to see animals on it, and that's going to happen here in the next few weeks.
In the next few weeks, we'll be showing a video, no doubt, that will have the pigs being unloaded and walking these pastures that we've just talked through.
Well, it's going to be wonderful.
Thank y'all for tuning in, and remember, subscribe to the YouTube channel, Pickling Parson, and you'll be seeing Buck and the Parson every week, Wednesday mornings, 8 o'clock.
Be a good ancestor.
Yes, sir.